Dr. Bora could not sleep. For 3 days she had been studying the signals the temporal aegis detected from beyond the galaxy. The patterns were wrong. They existed in multiple time periods at once, as if something was approaching from the past, present, and future simultaneously. Yunji, she called to the ship's intelligence. What are we looking at? The hologram appeared beside her. They are called the Devourers. They exist outside normal time, feeding on the energy of civilizations. Ancient humanity fought them 10,000 years ago. It was the greatest war ever fought. Did we win? Yes and no, Yunji replied.
Ancient humanity defeated them but realized something terrible.
The Devourers were attracted to advanced civilizations. The more powerful a species became, the more the Devourers wanted to consume them. Ancient humanity was the most powerful species ever, so they were the biggest target. So they gave up their power, Bora said, understanding now. Not just to save themselves from corruption. To hide from the Devourers. Exactly. They scattered and became primitive. They let the galaxy forget about them. For 10,000 years the Devourers have been sleeping, waiting for a civilization worthy of consuming. Now with the temporal aegis activated, they are waking up again. Bora felt sick. We brought them here. By activating the ship, we called them to us. You had no choice, Yunji said gently. The Council would have destroyed humanity eventually. You needed this ship to survive. Ancient humanity knew this would happen. That is why they left me here. To help you fight what is coming. Captain Daehyun entered the room. He looked exhausted. How long do we have? The Devourers will arrive in 6 months, Yunji replied. But they are already affecting our timeline. Strange events are happening across the galaxy. Ships disappearing. Entire colonies forgetting they exist. The Devourers eat civilizations by erasing them from history. Can we fight them? Daehyun asked. Alone? No, ancient humanity had 100 ships like the temporal aegis and barely won. But I have an idea. It is dangerous, perhaps impossible, but it is our only chance, tell me. We travel back in time, 10,000 years to the moment after ancient humanity defeated the Devourers. We warn them about what will happen. We give them knowledge that will help them prepare better. We change history so that when the Devourers return now, we have more ships and better weapons ready. Lieutenant Haewon had been listening from the doorway. That could destroy reality. If we change the past, we might erase ourselves. We might make things worse. Yes, Yunji agreed. Time travel is the most dangerous thing the temporal aegis can do. Ancient humanity used it only once, and they swore never to use it again. But we have no choice now. Daehyun looked at his crew. Bora nodded slowly. Haewon looked afraid but determined. From the pilot station, Ji-hoon called out, I trust you, Captain. Whatever you decide, I am with you. We do it, Daehyun decided. Prepare for temporal jump. The temporal aegis began to change. Power flowed through systems that had not been used in 10,000 years. Reality around the ship started to bend and twist. Daehyun felt his mind stretching, seeing past and future at once. Temporal jump in 3, 2, 1, Yunji counted. Now, everything went white. Daehyun felt like he was falling through infinity. He could see all of human history at once. The rise of ancient humanity. Their golden age, their war with the Devourers, their sacrifice, the long dark age, the return of civilization, his own birth. This moment. Then the white faded and they were somewhere else. Sometime else, Earth floated before them, but not the Earth Daehyun knew. This Earth was covered in cities that touched the clouds. Ships larger than moons orbited the planet. This was ancient humanity at its peak, just after defeating the Devourers. We made it. Bora whispered. We are 10,000 years in the past. A fleet of ancient ships approached them. They were magnificent, each one a work of art and a weapon of impossible power. A transmission came through in an ancient dialect that Yunji translated. Unknown vessel, identify yourself. This is Humanity Prime Defense Fleet. You are in restricted space. Daehyun spoke carefully. We are humans from the future. We came to warn you about what will happen if you choose to regress your civilization. There was a long silence. Then a different voice spoke. One that made everyone on the temporal aegis feel small. It was the voice of someone who had shaped galaxies and bent reality to their will. We know who you are. The temporal aegis was designed to allow this journey. We have been waiting for you. Daehyun was confused. You knew we would come? We exist outside time just as you do now. We see past, present, and future as one. We know that our descendants will find the temporal aegis. We know they will travel back to this moment. We know what you came to tell us. Then you know the Devourers will return, Bora said. You know we need more ships, more weapons, more preparation. Yes, and you came here hoping we would change our plans. Hoping we would stay powerful and build an empire that could crush the Devourers forever. Yes, Daehyun admitted. We need your help. We cannot fight them alone. The ancient voice became sad. We cannot help you in the way you want. If we stay powerful, the Devourers will never leave. They will keep coming, growing stronger, until they consume everything. The only way to truly defeat them is to disappear, to become so small and scattered that we are not worth hunting. But what about us? Haewon demanded. What about your descendants? You are abandoning us to face the Devourers alone. No, the voice replied. We are giving you the tools to win. The temporal aegis is not just a weapon. It is a key. When the Devourers return, you will activate it. It will awaken other ships hidden across the galaxy. Not human ships. Ships we left for every species. The council races will find their own ancient vessels. Every civilization will remember they were once greater than they are now. Daehyun understood now. You are not abandoning us. You are making sure we do not face the Devourers alone. Every species will have weapons like ours. Exactly. Ancient humanity could have defeated the Devourers alone, but that would have made us proud. That would have made us believe we were gods. Instead, we give everyone the power to save themselves. United, all species will be stronger than we ever were alone. Did you plan everything? Bora asked. The council treating us badly? Us finding the temporal aegis? This moment? We saw possible futures, not certain ones. But we hoped. We hoped that our descendants would be strong enough, wise enough, and brave enough to do what we could not. To unite the galaxy instead of ruling it. The ancient fleet began to fade. Your time here is ending. Return to your present. Share what you have learned with the council. Help them find their ancient ships. When the Devourers come, face them together. Wait, Daehyun called. One question. Did we win? In the future, do we defeat the Devourers? The voice laughed, kind and warm. We cannot tell you that. The future is yours to make. But we believe in you. We always have reality twisted again. The temporal aegis jumped forward through time, returning to the present. But when they arrived, everything had changed. The council was no longer their enemy. Ancient ships were awakening across the galaxy. And humanity, for the first time in 10,000 years, was ready to lead everyone against the darkness coming from beyond the stars. 2 weeks passed after the first battle. Captain Daehyun spent every waking hour learning the temporal aegis with his crew. The ship was patient with them, guiding them through systems that seemed impossible. Each day they understood a little more about what ancient humanity had built. Then the council returned. This time they brought 500 ships, the largest war fleet ever assembled. They were not coming to talk. They were coming to destroy. Daehyun stood on the bridge and watched the enemy fleet gather at the edge of the nebula. 500 ships from 12 different species, the greatest warriors and strategists in the galaxy, all focused on destroying one human vessel. They are serious this time, Lieutenant Haewon said. She had been studying the enemy formations. They have weapons that can destroy planets, energy cannons that can burn through stars. Captain, even with the temporal aegis, we might not survive this. Pilot Jihoon was less worried. Let them come. This ship can do things they cannot imagine. Jihoon is correct, Yoonji said. Her hologram appeared beside the captain's chair. The temporal aegis was built to fight threats far worse than the council. 500 ships is nothing compared to what ancient humanity faced. What did they face? Dr. Bora asked. She had been researching the ship's history constantly. That story is for another time, Yoonji replied. Right now you need to focus on the present battle. The council fleet will attack in 30 minutes. You must decide how to respond. Daehyun thought carefully. We showed mercy last time. We disabled their ships but did not kill anyone. They did not learn. So what do we do? Haewon asked. Destroy them all? Show them we can be monsters too? No, Daehyun said firmly. We show them something worse than monsters. We show them that all their power means nothing. We make them feel small. We break their pride, not their bodies. The council fleet began their attack, 500 ships moving in perfect formation, their weapons charging with enough power to crack a moon. They fired together thousands of missiles and energy beams crossing space toward the temporal aegis. Temporal shields active, Haewon reported. All weapons are being redirected into time loops. The council weapons hit the temporal aegis and vanished. Or rather, they hit the ship 1 second before they were fired. creating impossible feedback loops. Several council ships exploded as their own weapons struck them before launching. They are regrouping, Ji-hun said, changing their attack patterns. The council fleet split into smaller groups, attacking from multiple directions at once. It was a brilliant strategy that had won thousands of battles. But the temporal Aegis did not care about brilliant strategies. Ji-hun, show them what we learned, Daehyun ordered. The young pilot's hands moved across the controls. The temporal Aegis moved in ways that broke every law of physics. It appeared in 12 places at once, each version real and solid. The council fleet found themselves surrounded by copies of the same ship, all firing at once. But the weapons the temporal Aegis used were stranger still. One group of council ships suddenly aged 10,000 years in seconds. Their hulls rusted and crumbled. Their crews became dust. Another group found their ships frozen in time, unable to move or act while the universe continued around them. A third group simply ceased to exist. The temporal Aegis reached back in time and prevented their construction. The ships vanished as if they had never been built. Their crews found themselves floating in space, confused and terrified. "This is insane," Haiwan whispered. "We are rewriting reality." Ancient humanity learned that reality is more flexible than most believe, Yoonji explained. The universe has rules, but those rules can be bent by those who understand them deeply enough. The council fleet was in chaos. Half their ships were destroyed or disabled. The survivors tried to retreat, but the temporal Aegis was everywhere at once, blocking every escape route. It was not attacking now, just watching. Waiting. Commander Vectar's face appeared on the screen. He looked broken. All his pride was gone. "Please, stop, we surrender." Daehyun studied the alien commander. "You came here to destroy us. You brought 500 ships to kill one crew of humans. Why should we show you mercy?" "Because we were wrong," Vectar said quietly. "We thought humans were weak and primitive. We did not know. We did not understand. Your ancestors were the greatest power this galaxy ever saw, and they gave it all up. That kind of sacrifice. We could never make that choice." "Finally, you see the truth," Daehyun replied. "Humanity is not weak. We chose to be small because we knew the danger of being too big. But we are still here. We survived. And now we have remembered what we were." "What will you do with us?" Vectar asked. Daehyun thought about all the years of humiliation, all the times aliens had treated humans like dirt. He could take revenge now. He could make them suffer as humans had suffered. But that was not what ancient humanity would have done. They had power and chose mercy. They could have ruled the galaxy forever, but chose to set everyone free. "Go home," Daehyun said. "Tell the council that humanity wants peace. We do not want an empire. We do not want revenge. We just want respect. Treat us as equals and we will be your friends. Treat us as enemies and we will show you what ancient humanity could do when truly threatened. The council will listen now," Vectar promised. "After today, everyone will listen." The surviving council ships retreated slowly, carefully, afraid that the humans might change their minds. Daehyun watched them go and felt tired. They had won, but he did not feel happy about it. "Why do I feel bad?" he asked Yoonji. "We won. We proved ourselves." "Because you understand now what ancient humanity understood," Yoonji replied. "Power is easy. Anyone can destroy. But choosing not to destroy when you have the power, that is wisdom. That is what makes humanity special." Dr. Bora was looking at the ship's database again. "Captain, there is something else you should know. The temporal Aegis has been monitoring signals from beyond the galaxy. Something is coming. Something that made ancient humanity build these ships in the first place." Daehyun felt a cold chill. "What is it?" "I do not know yet," Bora said. "But whatever it is, the temporal Aegis has been waiting for it. This ship was not built to fight the council. It was built to fight something much worse." Daehyun looked out at the stars. They had just won an impossible victory against the greatest military force in the galaxy. But apparently, that was just practice. The real battle was still coming, and humanity was going to need all their ancient knowledge to survive it. The temporal Aegis hummed with power around Captain Daehyun. He sat in the command chair while Yoonji's hologram floated beside him, explaining systems that seemed impossible. Lieutenant Hye-won stood at the engineering console, her eyes wide as she studied technology that made human science look like child's toys. "The council fleet will arrive in 3 hours," Yoonji said calmly. 30 warships, all armed with weapons that have conquered many worlds. They believe they can take this vessel from you. Can they? Taehyun asked. Yunji smiled. No. But you must understand what this ship can do before we face them. The temporal aegis does not work like normal vessels. It exists partially outside of regular space and time. We can be in multiple places at once. We can make attacks that happened in the past affect enemies in the present. We can age their ships to dust or make them never exist at all. Haewon shook her head. That breaks every law of physics. It is impossible. It breaks the laws of physics as you understand them, Yunji corrected. Ancient humanity learned that reality is more flexible than most species realize. They learned to bend the rules. This ship is proof of what they achieved. Dr. Bora was examining the ship's database, reading through files that were thousands of years old. Captain, you need to see this. The records explain why ancient humanity gave up their power. Daehyun walked over to her station. The screen showed images of ancient Earth, cities that made modern human settlements look primitive, ships that dwarfed even the temporal aegis, weapons that could destroy stars. They had everything, Bora said quietly, but they saw where it was leading. With such power, they could reshape reality itself. They could make themselves gods. But that kind of power would corrupt anyone. Eventually, they would destroy everything, probably by accident. So they chose to start over. Daehyun said, understanding now. They deliberately made themselves weak again. Yes, Yunji confirmed. They scattered across the galaxy and became simple tribes. They let themselves forget everything. It was the greatest sacrifice any civilization has ever made. They saved the galaxy by destroying themselves. But they left you behind, Haewon said. Why? Because they knew danger would come eventually, Yunji replied. They left ships like me hidden throughout space. When humanity truly needed us, we would awaken. The temporal aegis has been watching humanity for thousands of years, waiting for the right moment. A warning alarm sounded. Ji-hun spoke from the pilot station.
Captain, the council fleet just arrived.
They are trying to contact us. Put them through, Daehyun ordered. The main screen showed a proud alien face, Commander Vektar of the Krillian race, one of the oldest council members. His scaled features looked down at Daehyun with obvious contempt. Human captain, Vektar said, his voice full of authority. You have discovered a dangerous artifact. For the safety of the galaxy, we must take control of this vessel immediately. Evacuate your crew and prepare to be boarded. Daehyun felt anger burn in his chest. All his life, aliens had talked to humans this way, ordering them around like children, treating them like they were nothing. No, he said simply. Vektar's eyes widened. What did you say? I said no, Daehyun repeated. This ship belongs to humanity. It was built by our ancestors. You have no right to it. You are making a terrible mistake, Vektar warned. We have 30 warships. You have one old salvage vessel, and an ancient relic you do not understand. Surrender now, or we will take the ship by force. Daehyun looked at his crew. Haewon nodded. Bora smiled. Ji-hun gave him a thumbs up. They were with him. Come and try, Daehyun said, and cut the connection. Yunji's expression became serious. They will attack now. Are you ready to defend yourselves? We do not know how to use this ship, Haewon protested. We need time to learn. Then I will teach you quickly, Yunji said. The temporal aegis was designed for enhanced humans with special abilities. You are not enhanced, but you have something your ancestors may have lost. You have the hunger to survive. You have been pushed down for so long that you will fight harder than anyone. The ship's systems connected directly to their minds. Daehyun gasped as information flooded into his brain. He could see the entire battlefield as if he was everywhere at once. He could feel the ship responding to his thoughts. Ji-hun laughed with delight. Captain, I can see everything. The ship is showing me how to move in ways that should not be possible. Haewon was crying as she touched the engineering controls. This technology, it is beautiful. It is perfect. We were gods once and we forgot. The council fleet opened fire. Hundreds of missiles and energy beams crossed space toward the temporal aegis. Daehyun did not panic. Somehow he knew what to do. Activate temporal shields, he ordered. The weapons reached the ship and simply vanished. Not deflected or absorbed, vanished. Yunji explained as they watched. The shields create small time loops. The weapons are hitting us 1 second before they are fired. They destroy themselves. The council ships looked confused. They fired again and again, but nothing touched the temporal aegis. Finally, They charged forward, planning to ram the ancient vessel. Ji-hun, show them what you can do, Dae-hyun said. The young pilot grinned and touched the controls. The temporal aegis moved in ways that broke physics. It was in front of the council fleet, then behind them, then beside them, all at the same time. The enemy ships tried to track them, but failed completely. Should we destroy them? Hae-won asked. Dae-hyun thought about it. They could erase the entire fleet with a thought. The temporal aegis had weapons that could make the council ships never exist. But that felt wrong. They had power now, yes, but they did not need to become monsters. No, he decided. Disable their weapons and engines. Show them we are better than they thought, but do not kill them unless we must. The temporal aegis fired. The weapons were like nothing the council had seen before. Beams of pure time energy touched each ship and their weapons aged to rust. Their engines froze, stopped in moments that had not happened yet. In seconds, 30 warships became floating scrap. Not one council member died. Dae-hyun made sure of that. He wanted them to live and remember this day. Commander Vektar's face appeared on screen again. This time he looked terrified. What are you? We are human, Dae-hyun replied. We are what we have always been. You just never bothered to learn the truth. This is not over, Vektar threatened. The council will send everything against you. Let them come, Dae-hyun said. We will be ready. And tell your council this, humanity is done begging for respect. From now on, we take our place as equals. If you want war, we will give you war, but we would prefer peace. He cut the connection and looked at his crew. They had won their first battle without losing anyone. They had proven that humanity could stand against the great powers of the galaxy, but Dae-hyun knew this was only the beginning. The council would not accept defeat easily. They would come back with more ships, better weapons, and all their ancient rage. The real war was about to begin, and humanity, for the first time in centuries, was ready to fight. Captain Dae-hyun stood on the bridge of the eternal horizon and stared at the empty stars ahead. His ship was old and tired, just like him. For 20 years he had commanded this salvage vessel, picking through the garbage of space while the great alien races looked down on humanity. The Galactic Council treated humans like children who could not be trusted with real technology. It made his blood boil, but there was nothing he could do about it. The year was 2847, and humanity had been part of the galactic community for 300 years. 300 years of being told they were too primitive, too violent, too stupid. The council had 12 member races, and all of them were older and more advanced than humans. They gave humanity the worst jobs and the worst territories. Humans mined asteroids and hauled cargo while the aliens built wonders. Dae-hyun was 52 years old now, with gray in his hair and lines around his eyes. He had stopped dreaming of a better future for humanity years ago. Now he just wanted to finish each day without trouble, and maybe make enough money to retire someday. Lieutenant Hae-won entered the bridge carrying a data pad. She was his chief engineer. Brilliant with machines despite working with equipment that was generations behind what the aliens used. She was 35 and still believed humanity could prove themselves worthy of respect. Captain, we have something strange on the sensors, she said, showing him the screen. There is a massive object in the Veil of Ancestors Nebula. The readings do not make sense. Dae-hyun looked at the data. The Veil of Ancestors was an uncharted nebula that most ships avoided because of dangerous radiation. But the readings showed something huge hiding in the clouds. Something that should not exist. How big? He asked. Bigger than a council dreadnought. Maybe 10 times bigger. Hae-won's voice was excited. Captain, if we can salvage even a small part of it, we could retire rich. Dae-hyun thought about it. The Veil was dangerous, but they needed the money. Call Dr. Bora to the bridge. We will need her expertise if we find anything valuable. Dr. Bora arrived 10 minutes later. She was the ship's science officer and an expert in old civilizations. She believed that humans had once been more advanced thousands of years ago, before some great disaster made them forget everything. Most people thought she was crazy, but Dae-hyun respected her passion. What do you think, Doctor? He asked, showing her the readings. Bora's eyes went wide. Those radiation patterns? Captain, I have seen something like this before. In ancient human ruins on Earth, this could be a human ship. Impossible, Hae-won said. Humans never built anything that large. The council has the biggest ships. Maybe we did not build it recently, Bora replied. Maybe we built it long ago before we forgot how. Dae-hyun made his decision. Pilot Ji-hun, set a course for the nebula. Be careful with the radiation. Ji-hun was only 23, but the best pilot Dae-hyun had ever seen. The young man had instincts that saved the ship more times than anyone could count. Yes, Captain. Starting our approach now. The eternal horizon moved slowly into the colorful clouds of the nebula. The radiation made the sensors flicker and fail. Dae-hyun felt his stomach tighten with worry. They were flying blind, trusting Ji-hun to keep them safe. Then they saw it. The ship was massive beyond belief. It looked like a sword made of metal and light, floating in space as if it had always been there. The hull was perfect, not a scratch or dent anywhere. Strange symbols covered the surface, glowing with soft blue light. "My God," whispered Haewon. Dr. Bora was crying. "Those symbols. That is ancient human writing. From before recorded history. This ship is ours." Dae-hyun felt something strange in his chest. Pride. For the first time in 20 years, he felt proud to be human. "Can we board it?" "There is an airlock," Ji-hun said. "It is still active. The ship has power." They docked with the ancient vessel carefully. Dae-hyun led a team inside, wearing their environment suits just in case. The airlock opened smoothly, as if the ship had been waiting for them. Inside, the corridors were beautiful. Everything was clean and working perfectly. Lights turned on as they walked, showing the way forward. It was like the ship was alive. They reached the bridge and a hologram appeared in front of them. It was a woman looking human but somehow more. Perfect. Beautiful. Ageless. "Welcome home," the hologram said in perfect Korean. "I am Yoonji, the intelligence of the temporal aegis. I have been waiting for you for a very long time." Dae-hyun found his voice. "What are you? What is this ship?" "I am what remains of your greatest age," Yoonji said. "Thousands of years ago, humanity ruled this galaxy. You were the most advanced civilization that ever existed. You built ships that could bend time and reality. You were gods." "That is impossible," Haewon said. "We would remember." "You chose to forget," Yoonji replied. "Ancient humanity saw that their power would eventually destroy all life in the galaxy. So they made a choice. They gave up everything. They scattered across space and became primitive again, starting over as simple tribes. They saved the galaxy by sacrificing their civilization." Dr. Bora stepped forward. "Why did they leave this ship?" "As a safeguard," Yoonji said. "Ancient humans knew that someday their descendants might need help. They left me here, hidden and waiting. When humanity faced a real threat, I would awaken. That time has come." Before Dae-hyun could ask more questions, alarms sounded on his wrist computer. Haewon checked her pad and went pale.
"Captain, we have incoming ships."
"Council military vessels. Dozens of them." "They detected our presence," Yoonji said calmly. "The Council has feared this moment for centuries. They know the legends of ancient humanity. They will try to take this ship or destroy it." Dae-hyun looked at his crew. They were scared but determined. He thought about all the years of being treated like trash by the aliens. All the times he had swallowed his pride and accepted their contempt. Not anymore. "Yoonji," he said, "can you teach us to use this ship?" The hologram smiled. "That is why I am here, Captain. The temporal aegis belongs to humanity. Let me show you what your ancestors built. Let me show you what you truly are." The bridge came alive with light and power. Screens showed the approaching council fleet, their weapons charging. Dae-hyun sat in the captain's chair and it felt right, like coming home after a long journey. The council was coming to take what belonged to humanity. But for the first time in 300 years, humans would not back down. They would fight, and they would show the galaxy what humanity really was. The age of being small and weak was over. The age of humanity had begun again. The Galactic Council chambers had never been so crowded. Representatives from all 12 member species gathered, but this time humans sat at the center table, not in the back corners. Captain Dae-hyun stood before them all wearing a simple uniform, looking tired but determined. Commander Vektar spoke first. The proud Krillian warrior looked different now, humbled. "Captain Dae-hyun, your journey through time has been verified. Our own ancient records, hidden for millennia, confirm everything you said. Ancient humanity left ships for every species. We found ours 3 days ago, buried beneath our capital city." Other representatives nodded. Each species had discovered their own ancient vessels, all similar to the temporal aegis but designed for their unique abilities. The Krillians had a ship that could phase through solid matter. The Velcor found a vessel that controlled gravity itself. Every race had been given tools suited to their nature. Ancient humanity gave us all this power, Vector continued. They could have kept it for themselves. They could have ruled us forever. But they chose to hide. They chose to let us develop on our own. And they left us weapons to defend ourselves when the Devourers returned. How long until the Devourers arrive? Asked the Minari representative, a crystalline being that sparkled in the light. Dr. Bora stepped forward. 4 months. Maybe less? They move through time in ways we still do not fully understand. They could arrive tomorrow or never arrive at all if we change enough. But we must prepare for the worst. What can we do? The question came from a small species called the Terran, who had always been peaceful traders. Our ancient ship is powerful, but we are not warriors. We do not know how to fight. You do not need to be warriors, Daehyun said. Ancient humanity left each species ships that match their strengths. The Terran ship is designed for healing and support. In battle, you will repair damaged vessels and save lives. Every species has a role to play. Lieutenant Haywan activated a hologram showing the entire galaxy. We have been training crews from every species to use their ancient ships. The vessels are teaching us how to work together, how to combine our abilities. Alone, each ship is powerful. Together, we might actually survive this. The temporal aegis will coordinate the fleet, Daehyun explained. Our ship can see across time and space. We can position everyone where they need to be, but I need to be clear about something. I am not asking to lead because humans are superior. I am asking because this is what our ship was designed to do. Any species could have found the temporal aegis first. We just happened to be the ones who did. Vector stood and bowed, something Krillians never did. Captain Daehyun, we were wrong about humanity. We were wrong about many things. You have shown us that power without wisdom is worthless. Your ancestors could have been gods, but they chose to be servants. They saved us all. We are honored to follow you. One by one, every representative agreed. The council, for the first time in its history, was truly united. 3 months later, Daehyun stood on the bridge of the temporal aegis and watched the combined fleet assemble. Thousands of ships from 12 different species all working together. Ancient vessels from forgotten ages, alongside modern warships and support craft. It was the most beautiful and terrifying sight he had ever seen. Captain, Ji-hoon called from the pilot station. The Devourers are here. Space itself began to tear. Huge rifts opened at the edge of the galaxy, and through them came things that should not exist. The Devourers were massive, each one larger than a planet. They looked like shadows with too many dimensions existing in multiple times at once. Looking at them made Daehyun's head hurt. How many? He asked. 50, Yoonji replied. Ancient humanity faced 100. You have fewer to fight, but you also have fewer ships. Then we better make every shot count, Haywan said. She had chosen to accept the ancient enhancements that would let her fully merge with the ship's systems. She was more than human now, but still herself. Still the brilliant engineer who believed humanity could be great. The Devourers moved forward, slow and terrible. As they advanced, stars began to die. Entire solar systems vanished, erased from history. The Devourers did not just destroy things. They ate time itself, making civilizations never exist. All ships, this is Captain Daehyun, he broadcast to the fleet. Remember your training. Remember why we are here. Our ancestors gave us these ships not to make us powerful, but to make us responsible. We fight not for conquest or glory. We fight for the right of every species to exist. We fight for the future. The fleet moved as one. The temporal aegis led the way, phasing through normal space to strike at the Devourers from impossible angles. The Krillian ship passed through matter, attacking from inside the enemy. The Velcor vessel crushed Devourers with gravity wells. The Terran healers kept damaged ships fighting. It was chaos, beautiful, terrible chaos. The battle stretched across light years and multiple time periods. Ships fought in the past and present simultaneously. The Devourers were ancient and powerful, but they had never faced such coordination before. They are adapting, Bora warned. Learning our patterns. We need to change tactics. Daehyun closed his eyes and let the temporal aegis show him the battle across all of time. He could see what the Devourers would do before they did it. He could see weak points in their defense that would not exist for another hour. He could see the exact moment when they would be vulnerable. All ships focus fire on these coordinates, he transmitted, sending targeting data. Ignore what you see. Trust the numbers. Fire now. The fleet fired into empty space. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Devourers appeared exactly where the shots were going. They had moved forward in time right into the attack. Dozens of the creatures died instantly, erased by weapons that hit them before they arrived. The remaining devourers retreated, confused and hurt. They had never been hurt before. They had consumed countless civilizations, but none had fought back like this. Press the advantage, Vectar urged. Destroy them all. No, Daehyun said. We have proven we can hurt them. That is enough. Devourers, can you understand me? A voice answered, old and tired beyond measure. We understand. You are like the Ancient Ones, strong, wise, different. The Ancient Ones were my ancestors, Daehyun said. They taught us that power should serve life, not consume it. You are hungry. We understand. But you cannot eat civilizations. Find another way to survive, or we will destroy you all. There is no other way, the Devourers replied. We must feed. Then feed on the energy we give you freely, Daehyun offered. The ancient ships produce more power than we need. We can share it. You can survive without killing, but you must promise to leave civilizations alone. The Devourers were silent for a long time. Finally, they answered. You offer food instead of war. No one has ever offered this before, we accept. We will sleep again and wake only to receive your gift. If you break this promise, we will return. If you keep it, we will never threaten you again. The Devourers faded away, returning to whatever dimension they came from. The battle was over. Not through violence, but through understanding. The fleet erupted in celebration, every species cheering together. They had faced extinction and found another way. Daehyun sat down in his chair and started crying. He could not help it. They had won, not by being the strongest or the smartest. They had won by being human, by showing mercy when they could have chosen revenge. Your ancestors would be proud, Yoonji said softly. You have proven that their sacrifice was not in vain. Humanity has finally become what they hoped you would be. We all did, Daehyun replied. Every species here chose wisdom over war. That is what ancient humanity wanted. Not a human empire, but a galaxy where everyone works together. Years passed. The galaxy changed. The council became a true alliance of equals. Humans were respected, not feared. The ancient ships were studied and their technology shared carefully. Peace lasted. Daehyun eventually retired, passing command of the temporal aegis to Ji-hoon, who had grown into a wise leader. He spent his final years on Earth, teaching young people about their ancient heritage, about the civilization that gave up everything to save everyone. On his last day, Yoonji appeared beside his bed. Thank you, she said, for proving that humanity deserves the legacy they were given. We almost lost it, Daehyun whispered. We were so close to becoming small and staying small forever. But you did not, Yoonji replied. When the moment came when you had ultimate power, you chose to use it wisely.